Okay, this is a run through a design exercise based on the idea of storage, initially with test tubes, but the realisation that test tubes are, although the benefits they have, they are fairly brittle. So we're looking at Partons, which I currently believe to be the name for the injection moulded part used when blow moulding things like drinks bottles, etc. And it's made with the thread at the top. Proportion of the sketch may be a wee bit off, but we can work on that a little bit later on the folio. So the concept of having something that's got the form of a test tube, but the safety, if you like, of the Parton and the feature of having a screwable top makes it a little bit more robust and an interesting component we could use for a design task. So we're looking for some alternative uses for this clear polythene Parton. They're robust, they're waterproof, durable, transparent, low cost, and to identify the features, we've got a 2D sketch and a 3D sketch up here. And look, well, to get the ball rolling, how can we actually start running out some ideas here? 2D drawing and 3D drawing, there's a getagrip.graphics video on that type of sketching, but for the purposes of this exercise, looking at the orientation, how could we just simply arrange one or more of these bottles? We can see, if you like it, the rolling type idea, there's an infinite number or near infinite number of possibilities up there. Again, we've just taken some samples. The alignment, how many of these would we have, and how would we arrange them along a straight line, curved line, parallel lines, lines with directions? So we can have some idea of ways of grouping more than one together. And the materials we've looked at before, whether it's acrylic or hardwood, softwood, plywood, man-made board, dowel, aluminium, rod. And to get the ball rolling, at least we could have a look at maybe a bit of a pick and mix. How can we pull different parts of this design, different components together to get the ball rolling? So the contents. The bottle itself, we've listed some of the features of it. It can hold liquids in forms of paints, inks, perfumes, water, fertilizer, wet soil. This is not an exhaustive list. I've even got chili sauce down there for something maybe towards the kitchen or barbecue or outside. Products, the sort of physical, harder things we can fit in, from pencils and bulbs and batteries, candles, herbs, earrings, nail cutters, toothbrushes. Again, a huge list. So looking at the types of things that could go in, we're now going to look at the who, the what, the where and the why. Who might want to use it, what they would use it to hold, where they might use it, and why. Now, one of the big features in this why thing is, for a lot of stored or arranged components, and something you might come across at National 5, is this idea of storing, organising and displaying. From the lists again, we've just got some to get the ball rolling. We're going to look at a little bit morphological analysis, ways of building up briefs from that, but look at the why part. Think of 3 products. We've got listed here just now something like a wallet, one with money in it preferably, a carrier bag with your shopping, and a jewellery display, say from a jeweller store. Which is the most high priority for these products to store, to organise or display? Follow the little chart there and you get an idea of how you can prioritise those different components. The design briefs. Now what we've got here is maybe just under a dozen or so, and we've taken from the list above, taking a who, a what and a where. From that, you can read them at your own leisure, slow this down, freeze frame it. We have almost a dozen possible design briefs. These are not fixed, these are just to get the ball rolling. You might find we've even got some words in there that didn't appear in our initial list, but came to mind as we were working with a different who, a different what, or a different where. So again, we have a huge possibility, a list of possibilities for generating design briefs. After a brief, we look at the specification. Now the specification as such is dependent on the brief. So what we've got in a minute or two is if you like, the structure for a possible design brief. Specification, where the design must be something, have something, or do something. At its core, it must have a Parton-based storage system. It must be safe to use. Must be capable of being made in a school workshop, because we're going to design and make, remember. Hold at least, and then we become a bit more specific. So these are incomplete statements, starting fairly general at the moment. We can maybe be a bit more specific, not too specific. The details that are being left open in the specification and it would be different depending on which of the hashtag 1 to 11 briefs you choose, or if you have a different brief altogether. So what do we know? Well, what we're coming in with, we know about acrylic, we know about the properties of acrylic, we've used it before. We've used materials such as pine, we've used man-made boards, and cut joints and things like cross halvings, etc. We've drilled holes in pine, we've used dowel, round wooden material and round aluminium rod. The standard component then, the preceded proportions changed quite a bit, but the main features, it's a chunky looking thing, it's got a preformed thread, it's injection moulded, this flange, this little disc that goes around the edge, it's part of it. It's like the collar, if you like, below the cap on a drinks bottle. And we've got a test tube-like form, it's transparent or it's translucent, that's slightly foggy, misty, or it could be opaque. And these are injection moulded. And we've got a list of things in terms of holding some plants down there. The reason we're looking at this design is heading towards. We're looking at the idea of something for primary school, something to show kids about cultivation, and we're looking at maybe 4 ways of putting growing things in these test tubes. One's plants, they need soil, they grow vertically, well most of the time, they need water, sunlight, etc. Seedlings, popping seeds into soil similar to above. Cuttings, that's where you take a cutting of a plant or tree or bush and put it in a liquid water, or to grow what's called a micro garden. In other words, to seal one of these containers and let everything happen internally. So 4 different systems for one classroom, allowing kids to see 4 different ways. Or we have one product that shows all 4. So for the plants, what type of plants? Well, materials that create materials for birds nesting, for wild food source, decorative, nice looking plants, human food source, medical vegetables, medicinal vegetables rather, air quality testers, you can see how pure the air is, spices and herbs. So we're pulling towards a set of 4 cultivating experience racks for primary pupils to grow herbs in a class using 4 different methods. And we've got a little start, maybe some cress, mint, chives, a little bit more work to do in that. 4 methods should show visually, link visually in some way, and also securely hold the Parton in place. And supporting graphics would be helpful to help the kids' understanding. You can see from this, these didn't appear in the original brief or specification. This is like an evolved to the stage now. We have something we can work with. And on the website, you can actually get a more detailed printout version of that. So, starting point, we're going to look at using acrylic to start off with, fairly straightforward. This idea of 2 bends and supporting something on top, the test tube sitting through. A little bit more interesting having a slope on the side. These are very quick sketches. Something with a flat base as the third sketch there, that be aware that they can sometimes wobble if the surface you're sitting on is not flat. Slope's more interesting, but how liquids or growing things would react in a sloping surface maybe needs a bit more work. The curved surface looks really neat, but I know from before, bending curves in acrylic could be a little bit tricky, but it's worth it coring down. Maybe combining 2 materials now, so a block of solid wood with a cross halving going through it, or just taking a cantilever or bend over type shape, so it's a C shape in reverse if you like, and this one with the bottle upside down, with the Parton upside down, so we've got the soil in the cap and the bulb if you like on top, the test tube on top with a growing space. We've got something with a plywood, recycled plywood cross halves, fins in the back, and although we're seeing it from the side, there'll be several test tubes. Front view, asterisk ones we'll look at later on. 2 blocks at either side are basically identical with an area going between. You can have a longer one, you can have more in it. And a sort of cross halving idea down below with like wings sticking out the side. Now, all of this has come from sketches, just developing ideas very quickly in sketch form. But the idea is that the whole thing comes as a kit and the students could assemble it along with notes. So I highlighted 1, 2 and 3, choices 1, 2 and 3 to take forward on the previous page. Squeeze this car going by. And what we'll do is take a top view and a front view and say, look, it's pretty linear. I like the idea, but maybe think about curves and jot those notes down. These notes are important. So taking the idea of the flat bit we can't really see, and maybe making that out a circle. So I wanted 3, thought of the Mercedes symbol, this idea of dividing something into equal thirds. and putting fins on that to support it, so I can get something with cross-having supports, thinner supports, with a 3D sketch down below to give an idea of where that could develop from. Not finished, where it could develop from. Second idea was this one with the bend and the spring and the cap underneath with the soil in it. I have to watch access because the whole soil idea could be a little bit tricky putting this thing together. And the flange, this disc on the Parton sitting on top of this, maybe giving a bit more room, so giving a little bit more height and width, but we've got what's the balance on this? It may look towards tipping towards the right in this case. And going for a sort of classic Z or number 2 shape there, but moving the Parton to the left to give a bit more room to get access to screw it together. A 3D view might consider rounding off the edges. We've got an arch shape in this particular case, but then realising it's just for one, so maybe it's a set of 3, or it could be wider to get more on it. The third idea was this idea of the cross-halving, which basically is a sketch thrown together at the top, giving a bit more space above the Partons now to get to the idea where we could put some information graphics. It's one of the things we mentioned. Shelves cross-halving end with a front leg coming forward, a bit like the sketch we had earlier on. This is softening the idea up, so giving it again more space for a graphic, and we could have the shelf slotting in from either side, or a big one coming through from the front, and a 3D sketch not in these colours, just to get an idea of the form and how things might go together. Also breaking the idea of cultivate up, we just take the letters, since it's got 9, we make a little matrix up, and the possibility of having a graphic to go with it. You can see how the sketch might fit, the shelf might fit into that particular sketch. So cultivate or cultiv and the number 8 could be a wee graphic for the side of this. The concepts, now we're going to take 1, 2 and 3, or a couple of those forward. I've decided to go for the one with the disc. That's the starting point, considering the space for the plant and the width of the fins coming in. I'm playing about with the length and position, so we've got more room either round the Parton to see the plants inside, and also to have some more space for information, maybe underneath that clear acrylic disc. We divide it into 3 compartments, a bit like a modern office space, but to get more space in this case for the plant and the graphic, we've moved the whole to the side. And then towards the end, we've gone for this idea of maybe making the dividers coming from the middle, making it a little bit like a polo mint hole in the middle, and maybe even moving the Parton to the end. Got to watch widths and strength there, but this sketch, 3D sketch, was trying to get the idea. Much easier to do that in the form of a card model, but for the purposes of this folio, we put down a quick 3D sketch showing how things might be arranged. Remember, this is an evolution. Yes, there is an O there, you just have to find it. An evolutionary process, building up, gradually changing. There's no one right answer. You may choose to take an idea from the end forward, or you could go back much earlier and pick up maybe the second sketch there and develop that towards a final solution. So construction, outline and rendering skills used throughout, and hopefully you can see that on the sketches. This is not presentation work as such, it's developing ideas. We've got all the construction lines visible throughout this, and hopefully you can see how it stores, organises and displays. Taking that idea a little bit further forward now, the second idea, you see we've gone for that softer curvy, widened the feet, made it a little bit longer, and gone the completely opposite and gone for a fairly rectangular, almost looks like a science lab, almost looks like that test tube rack, with a pine base and a plywood vertical acrylic top going in, and space to put a dry white marker on the back. There's a little 3D sketch showing the base would work, so a little bit science labby looking type idea, based on the same principle. The idea, the structural part is the same in all 3 of these. It's really the backboard that sets the style, if you like, of it. And the last one, which probably is the one that's maybe got bigger investment in terms of my time, is showing all 4 growing cultivation methods on the one. So one kit, if you like, would do the whole lot. Or you could have 4 of these, each one with a little different system: the seed, the plant, the cutting, and the micro system. The background there, there's some notes on different types of plants and trees, etc. And a building which came to mind of some mad scientist. I think his name was Dr. Boris Plant Alginate, I think there were a couple of jokes in there somewhere. Our Cult of Ireland. And a look at the possible construction, again not using the final colours, considering how the graphics might go on, but showing how this thing might go together. Another excellent time to get the cardboard out, or MDF or whatever modelling material you can, and try this construction without the holes, difficult to cut. Here's an idea of the